this videocast, I'm going to discuss another possibly surprising aspect of Maimonides' thinking, his complete opposition to atomism. Atomism is the belief that atoms are the smallest indivisible parts of matter. It probably wouldn't occur to most people that great minds throughout history have seriously questioned atomism. We generally have a sort of unconsidered received view of atomism, but it's light years away from Maimonides' view. In his Guide of the Perplexed, Volume 1, Chapter 73, Maimonides portrayed the propositions that undergird the Muslim Kalam theology. That's Kalam, K-A-L-A-M, which means theology. The first 6 of those propositions establish their version of atomism. Please see my essay and podcast on Guide 173 at Maimonides-guide.com. What is this atomism? The atoms of the Kalam were uncuttable, which is what the word means in Greek. Those atoms were indivisible. They also don't last very long. The atoms only last as long as they're clumped with another atom, and as long as God gave them their particular accidental characteristics, which are the things that we see. Those characteristics last only a moment, and then had to be completely replaced moment after moment after moment. They could be replaced by the same characteristic or any other characteristic, even one that was completely different. There were no rules for this. Each replacement, no matter how habitual or natural those things may seem to us and those changes may appear to us, was considered by the Kalam to be a separate divine miracle. But if everything is a miracle, nothing is a miracle. Their granulation of reality prevents the mind from generalizing, but generalization is the first step to rationality. The Muslim concern with atomism reflects a similar concern in Aristotle's time. Democritus thought that the world was composed of chance encounters of indivisible atoms, randomly colliding in their universe. In that universe, there were only 3 things: the atoms, the void into which they moved, and chance, the randomness of their encounters. This universe of chance became the basis of the atheist view, which isn't far from modern-day atheism. Aristotle opposed the atomist view and developed his famous space-time motion continuum in order to refute it, as I explain in my essay. He was successful in this, with the exception of the Epicurean atomists and a few others. Aristotle's anti-atomist view prevailed, and it prevailed with Maimonides. So why was this atheist doctrine of atomism revived in the Muslim Kalam theology? When the Muslims learned that the Aristotelians thought that God was not the creator of the universe, they wanted to replace the philosopher's system and get rid of their insistence on the eternal natural order. They recognized that the old pre-Socratic atomists were their ally against Aristotelian naturism. Both the Kalam and the pre-Socratic atomists wanted to show, against the Aristotelians, that things happen in our world without intermediaries, with no discernible or predictable principle or law. The Kalam, therefore, accepted the early atomists' conclusion that the atomic combinations occur according to no rule, and that there was consequently no principle of nature. The Kalam merely exchanged the atomists' principle of chance with Allah's continuous, unpredictable, miraculous interventions. This destroyed any possibility of scientific progress, since they also didn't think that anything could be known about the world, After all, how could anything be known about a world in which everything was changing randomly with no rule? They also rejected geometry, which is impossible in a world of uncuttable atoms, as Maimonides recognized. Maimonides opposed their atomism precisely because it destroyed our perception of the regularity of nature. Maimonides' naturism expresses the Jewish view and the Judeo-Christian tradition generally, for although Jews do conceive God to be all-powerful, they don't doubt that he created nature and the natural order as one of the complexities of his grand plan. What we know of God comes from observing his works, which include nature and Torah. Maimonides had another reason for rejecting atomism, which he states at the beginning of Book 2 of the Guide, in his Proposition 7, which states that all matter and anything which changes or moves is divisible. This principle of divisibility would exclude the existence of the atom as the basic indivisible particle of matter. And we see this in our real life because we could take any length of matter and continue to divide it endlessly. We also see it in the fact that we can now split atoms with modern particle accelerators like Fermilab. So how should we feel about all of this? The truth, as I show in my essay, is that in modern science we no longer think that our physical universe is well represented by the theory of atoms coming together in molecules organized into the things that we see. With quantum theory, we're uncertain whether things manifest as particles or waves at any given moment. Modern string theory grasps that instead of the unidimensional atomic picture, there seem to be an almost unlimited number of different dimensions. The ancient atomic theory, as revived in the science of the 18th century Age of Enlightenment and the work of John Dalton, looks threadbare in our day when we can split the atom into parts. Werner Heisenberg, the famed theorist of quantum mechanics, who elaborated the Heisenberg uncertainty theory, wanted us to take another look at the ancient Aristotelian theories of matter and form as against atomism. He argued that quantum mechanics seems to work better with a theory of universal matter and form than with the indivisible atoms of the ancient pre-Socratic Greeks and the Kalam. This would also probably be true with modern developments such as string theory. I hope you've enjoyed this brief podcast. Thank you very much for listening. You may contact me directly at scottmalexander@rcn.com with comments, questions, or criticism. Please see my website at maimonides-guide.com for my commentary essays on each chapter of the Guide of the Perplexed, now completed through the entire first volume. You'll also find there other videos, podcasts, associated essays, and important links. Please click on the description panel at YouTube for this video in order to find clicks to the documents mentioned in this video. And, of course, please like this video, share it, subscribe, and hit the YouTube notification bell. Thank you.